Welcome back to another episode of Two Average Husbands. I'm your host, Jake.
I'm your host, Kyle. Welcome back, everybody. We have a guest today. Jake, do you want to introduce him or do you want to introduce yourself, my good sir?
He's been on the pod before. He replaced Kyle for an episode when Kyle was too cool to hang out with us. It's my brother, Logan. Logan, how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing pretty good, and this time I'm 21, so now I can actually drink with you.
Oh my god, I swear I was today years old when I realized you were that young.
He was born in 2001.
The last
Holy
one, I was
shit.
drinking some sort of like latte, just because I couldn't legally drink.
My god, I did not know that.
Yep.
Good to know.
Well,
Welcome to the world of 21. Happy late birthday.
Anybody who is hanging out in the chat today, I do have a new microphone that Kyle seems to be complaining about, even though everybody else I've talked to says it sounds better. So let me know if you think the audio sounds any different or
I'm going to
off
put a
or
jar
anything
over
like
my
that.
mic, and I think that's what you sound like.
I think this is what a microphone is supposed to sound like, and it's a condenser microphone, thus focusing the audio a little bit more clearly. So you actually just hear my audio now. Uncle Kyle says it sounds better. Get fucked, Kyle.
I don't care if 100 people tell me that it sounds better. I think it sounds
Okay,
worse.
we're at a 50-50 split for Kyle's. Let's get over it.
Yeah,
That might be the funniest thing you've said all night, Logan. All right. So as always, we are drinking something special. Logan, since you are the guest, why don't you start off by telling us what you're drinking tonight?
I am drinking an Untitled Arts malted milk ball pastry stout, which I now have to pour into my glass.
Tiny bit muffled.
I told you, it sounds muffled.
I don't think it sounds muffled.
Anyway.
This is what a condenser microphone sounds like.
I am going to start off with a beer that I'm probably going to hate, and I'm going to drink it anyway to be a part of the cool kids crowd, and it'll hopefully not be as bad as I think. But I'm going to drink the Pineapple Party Crasher, which is a pineapple sour.
That sounds delicious to me.
And it is from Paperback Brewing. Looks like this.
I am drinking Energy City Brewing's Bistro Blueberry Pancakes, which is a flavored Berliner style Weiss beer.
I poured this like shit.
Did you pour it hard?
No, I tried not to, but
Oh, well, yeah, you're supposed to pour beer hard, by the way.
The Twitch chat is much faster. That's good to know, Uncle Kyle. I'll keep that in mind.
Good to know. So, anybody, if you didn't know, we are streaming on our Twitter page at the number 2 AVG Husbands. We are on our YouTube channel as well as on Twitch under 2 Average Husbands. So you can find us on multiple platforms moving forward. But guys, how we feeling? Week 2 of football went pretty good. I had some very good fantasy weeks. Kyle kicked your ass.
Expected.
beat
Very
Somehow
expected.
out of
Jake has
all-
fleeced his way into this ridiculous dynasty roster that's never going to fucking lose, and I'm about to... I'm seriously considering leaving that league next year because of how tilted it is now.
You are not allowed to leave
Yeah.
that league.
I-
You don't have a choice.
I'm thinking about it.
See
You're
Kyle, and I'm
committed.
like, yeah, my roster's pretty good, and then I look at Jake every week, and I'm like, holy
Yeah,
fuck.
it's stupid. It's stupid.
You
as
guys
fuck.
forget how fucking bad this exact roster was last year. I squeaked into the playoffs and then won in the my playoff streak
Dude.
went hot.
No. I could go on an entire topic about how annoying you were last year, about how we needed a median because I'm losing and I shouldn't. And then you fucking make it into the playoffs and win the league. Big shocker because your roster was good last year too.
Crawled into the fucking playoffs.
I think that was because of injury.
To be entirely fair, I also did throw a game so that AJ could make playoffs.
Wow.
I didn't really
asshole.
throw. I should have put in players that I didn't.
Yeah. And then I remember specifically the trade that pissed me off the most last year was when you got DeAndre Swift, because I had been trying to trade for Swift for a couple weeks because he had him on the block. And I sent like ridiculous offers, and then all of a sudden you send some dog shit fucking puke offer.
He
And he's
wanted
like,
Judy. He wanted
Yup.
Jerry Judy.
I was so fucking mad.
The best part about that was
Let's just ignore the fact though that I traded Logan Elijah Moore and Amon-Ra St. Brown for Zach Moss.
and Tylen Wallace and something else.
Yeah. And then Amon-Ra St. Brown is now Jesus incarnate, so
He is
He is
the new
really
Calvin
fucking good at
Johnson.
football.
the sun god is actually a god. So I mean,
I switched glasses for the first time ever,
ooh.
and I went with my
Mason
McGuire's
jar.
glass.
I'm using my absolutely destroyed Demon Slayer glass because someone threw it in the dishwasher and it wasn't supposed to be.
I'm using the same glasses that I always use because I bought a 4-pack.
While we're on the topic of shitty trades, by the way, what I was going to talk to you guys right before we started streaming the episode was I saw a trade go through, and it's a work league where a guy only joined because he wanted to be like social with the rest of us.
Yeah.
And he like admittedly didn't know very much, and he was like, "I'm just here to have some fun."
Right.
Some guy, I overheard him the other day at work say, I want to trade for you and I want to get Dalvin Cook from you. And I was like, I already can smell the
This is gonna be bad.
trade abuse, you know?
Yeah, this is.
Trade goes through this morning. OJ Howard and Ezekiel Elliott for Dalvin Cook. And I was like, fucking, I can't veto any harder.
I
And
mean,
I
I
know
don't-
Jake hates trade vetoes.
I do hate trade vetoes.
That is a terrible trade. And you're just taking advantage of a player that doesn't know what the fuck they're doing.
Yeah,
Terrible trade.
I don't know.
I mean,
It could be worse, right? Like Zeke is not. It's not exactly like Zeke or Dalvin are lighting the world on fire right now.
Dalvin can. Zeke will not.
yeah,
Yeah.
no.
It's-
Tony Pollard has completely overtaken him. in
It's
every
definitely
fucking
like
way,
a
shape, or form.
possible thing.
You're also talking about a first round running back for a fifth round running back, or fourth or fifth, depending on your league. But and OJ Howard doesn't even fucking matter. Like he's just a throw in.
He had
Yeah,
those
I mean,
Literally, like
yeah,
you're
I
going
mean-
first round pick for fifth. Like
He
you're
literally
just
had one
taking
good
advantage
week
of it.
because he got what, a touchdown
Yeah,
and like
Yeah.
The
3
O-line,
receptions.
it's embarrassing. I was so mad. I saw
But-
the guy today that took the trade, and I was like, you know, you got fleeced, right? And he's like, I have no idea what I'm doing. And I was like, he won't be cut. They have too much of a fucking
What's
money
his,
wrapped up
too
into
much
him.
now?
dead cap.
Now I'm curious what his dead cap is actually.
It's a lot.
It's
Still,
like $22
I think,
million.
I think it's through the next 2 years. I could be wrong. It might just be through next year. but
Um,
It's a lot.
no, if they cut him next year, it's only about a $12 million dead cap.
It's a lot of fucking money.
It's really not that bad. You take 12. If you keep him, you pay him the head's 17.
Or
It's savings. It's not
apparently
great savings, but
he's worth Amari Cooper's worth a fifth. Fucking trade him for a seventh.
Oh god, dude, I was so mad when that trade went through too. Yeah,
But I
That
get
was
it.
especially when
Again, if you're trying to trade a big contract, like you're not going to get as much in return. It's just
yeah,
how it
which
works.
Jerry Jones loves throwing around big contracts. Anyway, we don't have to spend all day on this. Just a quick little NFL intro. Uncle Kyle, Cowboys did get lucky. I completely agree. And we can move on. Jake, who's going first? You
It's
make Logan go first.
We make
Okay.
the guests go first around here.
We do usually do that.
Got to break them in.
All right. I've got a topic, and I've got 2 answers for my own topic. So,
Okay.
what is your biggest pet peeve in public?
Okay, that's a good
So-
one.
So, I've got 2. I've got one for the gym, and I've got one for restaurants.
Okay.
My biggest gym pet peeve is when people are just sitting on a bench for like 10, 15 minutes, and I walk over and I'm like, hey, can I use the bench? And they're like, no, I've got 3 sets left. I'm like, you haven't touched-
done 3 sets since you got here.
You haven't touched
Yeah.
a weight in 10 minutes. And then they proceed to not touch a weight for another 5 to 10 minutes. That shit drives me insane.
Yeah. It depends on how busy the gym is. Like, if it was a full packed gym, I'd be pretty fucking annoyed by that. But if it
Yeah.
was like somebody's going to get up in the next 10 minutes, I'd probably just get over it. Because I've seen places too where, like, I swear some people are just telling their wives they're going to the gym and, like, they really don't want to work out. So they just go and sit there, like, on a machine and just sit on their phone the whole time. I see that shit all the time, or at least I used to.
I mean, I've talked about it before on here, but I've literally like seen people run into the gym, take a selfie, and leave like that.
yeah. Yeah.
I think some people really do just use it as an excuse sometimes, but yeah, that one's tough. One of the bigger pet peeves for me is people who are in public and they're talking on speakerphone,
Yep. 100%. That's where I was
my
going.
or not even necessarily speakerphone, but like talking with AirPods in, and they're just
Oh,
walking.
that doesn't bother me. I don't care.
But it's
Do that all you
but-
want.
But the people who do that, like, I swear they don't comprehend how receptive the microphone on AirPods are. So they're still shouting. So they're on the phone and they're like, "Yeah, I can't believe what he did." And I'm like, "Hey, maybe we don't scream this in H&M." Like,
Dude,
maybe
and
we
people
bring this down a
love to
notch.
spill their drama on speakerphone too.
Yeah, they do not care.
They're like, that motherfucking bitch, she
I-
came in my fucking house and
Like-
she spit on my kids. Like, they just fucking freak it out. And you're just like, whoa, I didn't
As
want to
someone
know
who-
any of this.
Still works retail. Every day I have someone on like that walks up to the counter with a FaceTime conversation going, and I just hear the juiciest fucking tea that I have no involvement in.
Yeah, and like, you have like no recollection. Sometimes it's entertaining, I will admit, but for the most part, it just drives me crazy. Yeah, that was where I was going to go, so I'll have to try to think of something else now, because speakerphone is probably my biggest one. I was just complaining about it the other day.
I've got so many pet peeves. I can
do
keep
too.
going so you can think. People
Yeah.
who chew with their fucking mouth open.
Yeah.
My biggest thing is people who have been in a drive-through line for 5 to 10 minutes get to the like order place and still have no fucking idea what they want.
That
Oh,
one is
yeah.
fucking annoying
That
too.
one that pisses me off
That's
too.
really fucking
Jess
annoying.
does
I'm like-
that shit. I'm like, we've known that we were going to this restaurant for 20 minutes.
Or you're like
You've
like
been
Logan
sitting
said,
in-
you're sitting in the line. Yeah.
And you've been staring at the fucking menu. How do you not know?
Yeah, that's just
Also,
frustrating.
it also like if you've been to the restaurant 100 times and you Jess doesn't do this, but I've been around people who get the same exact fucking thing every single time and still take 5 minutes to order.
Yeah.
Like, no, you don't need to look at the menu. You're getting the fajitas, you're getting double steak and chicken, you're getting extra beans on the side, and you're getting a Dr. Pepper to drink. I know what your fucking order is.
I always get
you
the
know what your
fajitas.
order
What would
is.
you recommend? And then they go in a long list of recommendations, and I'm like, I'll take the fajitas.
I'll get the fajitas.
Yeah,
We had
that's
this
pretty
one
good too.
lady who would like ask that question, and then she would still come into the restaurant that I worked at, and she would order the fish tacos with every ingredient on a separate plate.
Oh, I would strangle her.
Yeah, well, she
I
tipped
would-
well, so
Okay, well,
is there one redeeming?
Some people are
quality.
really fucking weird about that.
I've got this fucking gnat flying around my room. I thought
I was gonna
caught it.
ask that. Carly and I are synced up in the brain right now. What do you guys think about when and what she's asking is like you order your food, you go to the drive-through, they hand it to you. What do you think about looking in the bag and like making sure everything's there before you pull away?
that's fine. I've been
I'm
doing.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. It annoys me personally when Jess does it, and I'm in the passenger seat. Passenger seat. It annoys me, but that's just because like my brain is constantly on go. Like, let's get out of here. I don't want to be sitting here.
Yeah.
But also like I'm fine with it. Especially if you like know it's a restaurant that fucks up your order, or you have a super complicated order. Like
Yeah.
for me, I just say I want my shit plain. And most
Dude.
restaurants are pretty good about that. But like if you're
See-
like double pickles minus the onion, but add mayo, like I understand.
It doesn't matter. Fast
Karen.
food, man, and like I'm not shitting on fast food workers, but they have like they're spitting out like shit constantly, right? And so like it's so easy for them to fuck up, and it's
Yeah.
not a big deal. Like right, like usually you can spot correct it, and it's really not a big fucking deal, right?
Yeah.
But it happens all the time, even with simple orders, right? But we had a friend, and the reason she asked this is because we literally we were all drunk one night, and Carly was the only sober one, and drove us through a Taco Bell drive-through. And she's sitting there, and she's like getting food for 4 people, so she's like making sure all the food's there, right? And she's about to like probably getting right to the end of making sure everything's there, getting ready to pull away, and like this dude that we know was in the back seat and was like, "You need to move, go. This is how people get shot." And we were like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" And he was like so adamant that like people get so angry about that they would literally shoot you over it. And he's like, "I swear I saw it on the internet one time. Somebody got shot in a drive-through because of this." I was like, "Yeah, maybe one time out of like
Yeah, there's
how
also
many interactions in the
gang
drive-through."
member.
People also got fucking flattened at Walmart on Black Friday one time. I'm not going to Walmart on Black Friday.
Yeah, it was. We've made fun of that person ever since.
Yeah,
because of that.
I'm fine with it. I don't.
It was
I don't
so
think
fucking
that's,
funny.
Yeah,
I've
I
been
don't think
doing
that's
it
that big of a deal.
a lot more recently because my boyfriend is really particular about like his food, and every fucking time we go somewhere his order's fucked up. It's just completely wrong, and it's the simplest shit. I had to walk into a McDonald's 5 times because they couldn't make a double hamburger ketchup only. They kept putting cheese on it, or they give them a normal fucking McDouble. I was losing my mind.
You just reminded me of a really good fast food story, but I don't need to take too much time with it. Long story short, this person ordered like some sort of a modification to a cheeseburger at McDonald's, and they brought out literally like the only thing that was in the wrapper was the 2 buns. And I think maybe there was like cheese on it, like cheese between buns. And
Yeah,
they're
or
like,
you order
"What
like a
the fuck?
McDouble
Where's my
cheese only.
burger?" Right?
Yeah.
And the lady was like, "People come in here and order that all the time." It's like, who would do that? Who orders,
Who's
not
coming to
even like a-
McDonald's to order a grilled cheese? Come on.
but
Are
that's
they
not even what it
dogs?
is, right? Like it's just, dude, I don't know. We were all dying, like sitting there watching. It was,
yeah.
it's a longer story than that, but it was pretty fucking funny to watch it unfold.
Another pet peeve of mine is people who like smoke in public and have no wherewithal of like where they're blowing their smoke. So they'll go stand next to the door
Yeah.
and they'll just fucking they're blowing smoke on every fucking person who walks out. That's just
Yeah.
a little annoying. And then
Yeah.
people if you smoke, like if you don't take care of your cigarette butts.
Yeah, that's an annoying one for sure. Yeah, take care of your shit. Throwing it out the window for some like that bothers me obviously too. Like
Yeah.
just, I don't care if it's
Yeah.
gonna fucking. It's definitely not fucking biodegradable, so don't try to fucking run me up
Yeah.
that alley. But either way, like it's just fucking irritating to see people do that.
Also, like just get a fucking water bottle, leave a little bit of water in it and just drop the thing in there.
Yeah. Do you have any irrational pet peeves like that you know is irrational? Like, you shouldn't
Oh,
be
I'm
mad about
sure.
it.
Yeah.
Oh, I know mine immediately. People who order excessive fucking coffee orders. I want a half calf, half milk, half soy milk. Like that shit. Because I work at a Target, so I go to the Starbucks a pretty decent amount just to get like refills and water and shit. So I hear those orders and it makes me want to murder people. It's just the most ridiculous shit. It's a drink. Who fucking cares?
Yeah. Yeah. Mine is like, and I've never understood why this bothers me, but I hate it. When you're like sitting in a parking lot or like at a stoplight and somebody opens their door and dumps their like drink out onto the street.
Oh,
I hate it.
Oh, I've done it.
And I don't know why.
I do that
Because
out
it
the
doesn't
window,
fucking matter.
but, like,
It
Yeah,
truly
it's-
doesn't matter at
it
all. And I'm just like, why are
literally-
you doing that, you fucking shitbag?
How do you feel
Like,
about people getting out of their car in the drive-thru and taking a piss?
Oh my god, dude! I
What?
just think it was hilarious.
Did you not hear that episode, Logan? When I went to Kyle's area to visit him, the person behind we got in at like 2 a.m. ish,
Yeah.
maybe 3,
Yeah.
and we went to Jack in the Box to get food, and this girl in the car behind us literally just like gets out, open her door, and just starts pissing.
Squats and pisses right there in the drive-thru. It was impressive.
You're in Arizona, right?
California now.
Oh, cool. I'm never visiting. Oh, fuck,
Logan,
we're visiting.
we're
in
going
a
there in
week and a
2
half.
weeks.
Yeah, dude, it was hilarious. It was a great introduction to the area.
That sounds like California though.
I don't know if I have any
Oh.
other good ones.
Something that pisses me off is when people park their car like it's an expensive car,
Yeah.
and it's a piece of, like, your souped up Honda Civic does not need to take up 2 spots. If a
Yeah.
Lamborghini Urus parks all wild, I at least get it. It's a $400,000 car.
Yeah.
I kind of understand that a little bit. You still think they're a dick, but like it makes a little
Yeah.
bit of sense. But if you're quadruple parking your Honda Civic, you should fucking not drive a car. I hate
I had
it.
a buddy buy a brand new truck, and I totally get it. I've never bought a brand new vehicle in my life, so I understand if you make that level of investment, like you're going to be like wanting to take care of it. Totally get it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he would intentionally drive to the very end of any parking lot, no matter how big it was, and park there so people wouldn't park next to him. And it
That's-
fucking irritated the shit out of me. It's
would-
not my car, so I don't give a fuck about your car, and I don't want to walk all the way
Yeah.
across the fucking parking lot.
I would park next to him because when I see people do that at work, I park next to them.
Yeah, you
Dude,
just
it was-
purposely become an asshole.
Yeah,
That's
'Cause
an
I'm like,
irrational pet peeve too, because like I totally understand why he does it. Like I get it, I truly do. And if you want to walk that far all the time, sure. But if you have a car with people, don't make me fucking walk that far. Drop me off at the door.
I have parked like at the front of my like parking lot for 3 years now. Never had any issues. I have one door ding because of a really bad storm, and a cart blew across the parking lot into my passenger side.
Do you ever
Oh,
watch Cart
yeah.
Narcs?
Yes, I do. That pisses me the fuck off. Just walk your fucking cart to the carousel.
Yeah, dude. I've
I-
talked to.
Put it over there.
Go ahead, Logan.
I see people. So like how our thing is like there's the divider, parking spots, cart carousel, more parking spots.
I've really
seen
called
people-
it carousel.
Yeah, that's what it's
Yeah,
called.
it's car. Yeah.
Might have to have a
Um,
discussion about this.
This will be your topic. Words that don't make sense. But then or cart corral, I think it is also, but still.
Yeah.
And then like
Yeah, I think corral's the
I've
proper
seen
term.
people
I think I'm
put it-
realizing that now.
on the other side of the cart corral,
Yeah,
like it
people that
takes
walk
more
farther
eff-
away and then like
Yeah.
curb it. Like what?
It takes more effort to do that than just to put it where it fucking belongs.
Yeah, 100%. I'm never. Again, we've talked about this on the episode too. I'm a relatively non-confrontational person, but I've gotten better at like confronting when necessary in life.
Right.
But Carly and I were walking into a store the other day. Like I think we were going into UPS, and some fucking guy just like curbed it, and like I'm pretty sure he curbed it. Maybe he just set it in the fucking middle, or like just left it. I can't remember exactly what the situation was, but Carly was just like, "Really?" And I was like, "Oh shit, it's on!" Because the guy instantly got pissed, and he goes, "Yeah, really?" And he was like so fucking. It's like, put your fucking cart away, you dick.
There's the fucking guy on TikTok that like throws magnets.
Yeah,
and
cart
shit
narcs.
on-
Cart narcs.
Yeah.
It's the best.
I love
that shit. I get lost in cart narcs for hours sometimes.
Same.
It's great.
That shit is hilarious.
You know what's something
good.
that this isn't necessarily something in public that pisses me off, but I also get like so wrapped up in it is like the YouTube pranksters. who like go out in
Oh.
public just to be dicks.
Yeah.
But then like when people like way overreact to them, that pisses me off. So then suddenly I'm on their side.
Dude, no, I'm not on the prankster's fucking side ever. If it's like super innocent, like relatively harmless, sure. But
Like-
if you're like throwing fucking water on people
Yeah.
or doing like stupid shit in grocery stores where people were like smashing the milk jugs, if you remember
Yes.
that thing from a while back,
Yeah,
like,
I do.
Fuck you for that.
So like this one, this is the last thing I'll say on the topic just because I don't want to take too much time. But like these guys were at a county fair filming people, or like just filming themselves basically, and they went up to the counter and wanted to talk to somebody, and they told them to come in the room,
Oh, I just saw that video.
and then they like go into the room because they were told to, and then like they get fucking like this lady snaps on them.
Yeah.
And then like lies to the cops, and they have it on film, like everything that happened. I'm like, I was annoyed by you at first, but now I'm suddenly on your side because of that lady.
There
And
was
it
like
just-
a half a second where I started to feel for them, and then I was like, nah, fuck them. Like they put themselves in that situation, so still
Yeah,
fuck them.
yeah,
but,
but-
yeah, like the overreaction from like the office staff was pretty hilarious to watch in
Yeah.
that one. I'll agree.
That sounds insane.
I don't know
never
that I
seen
really
that.
offered very much context to this one. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Pet
well.
peeve wise, I can't believe Carly's not chiming in for me because I like bitch to her about my pet peeves all the time.
Yeah.
And I agree with Uncle Kyle. He said it a while back. Like idiot drivers driving in the fast lane is an obvious one. I hate that shit. Drives me fucking crazy.
People who don't
Um,
use their turn signal. Just
People that
do
are
it. You're turning.
rude to like
Body drivers.
service industry people.
Yep. fuck
That's a
'em.
huge pet peeve of mine.
Yeah.
Fuck those people. Spit in their fucking food. Pull a full on waiting on them. I don't give a fuck. Like,
Yep.
don't be rude about your food.
Give 'em a
Um,
little Fremunda cheese.
That's
Well,
right.
Especially when you can't see like where they're making your food. Don't
Yeah.
be a dick. There's a lot of cops that won't go to places where like they can't see their food being made because they're so worried about that of
Yeah.
like people putting shit in their food.
I'm not that paranoid. Like, I think most people are just trying to get through their fucking day.
Yeah.
Carly's right. This is another irrational one of mine, and I know it's a wire that's disconnected in my brain. But if people like crunch really loud, I can't stand it.
We've talked about that.
I
before.
cannot stand that sound, and it's
Tells
not
me it's a
because I
felony.
like. It's not people's fault, and like there's nothing that she can do about it. I tell Carly all the time she has hollow teeth though because somehow she crunches louder than anybody else. But it's like, I was at work one day and I text her. I do hate slow drivers. It's true.
Who doesn't?
I was at work one time though, and this dude pulls out like a bag of fucking baby carrots, like a full on bag, and is sitting there just crunch, 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 fucking carrots. And I messaged Carl. I was like, I'm gonna fucking lose it. Like I might have to
yeah.
leave work. I was going crazy.
Bro, I swear I have lost friends from the number of times that I've had to tell them to close their mouth when they're chewing around me. Because I'm like, just close your mouth. You don't need to open your mouth to chew your food.
Yeah,
I remember
You put your food in there and you.
You used to slap Ethan all the time because he was so bad about it.
I still will. If he does it, I'll kick him in the dick. Uncle Kyle, you hate. He says, Kyle,
I
you
don't
must
hate
hate.
most. No, I used to watch those all the time.
Just because he crunches.
I don't feel like he's that
and
crunchy.
He does chew with his mouth open too.
He does. He's kind of a gross eater.
He is.
I have mixed feelings about Dave Portnoy. I think is.
I was
how you
gonna say,
I think we
he's
all
also-
do.
He's also
But-
like terrible to women, allegedly.
Every time I've ever like watched a video, I'm like, you're kind of funny, but I know I'd fucking hate you in real life. You know, like he's like
Yeah.
one of those people. Like I'll watch a video of yours, but I know you probably wouldn't like you. But that's okay. I don't mind the reviews.
This actually, since we're talking about him, Logan, I'm just going to arbitrarily say that your topic was done because this actually parlays into. It wasn't necessarily the topic that I was going to talk about tonight, but I do think it's a good topic to talk about. What are your thoughts on people who have been canceled in some way, shape, or form? Obviously, nobody has stayed canceled forever. Everybody kind of, for the most part, a lot of people have been able to come back from. Like, think about it. If you really think about it, Dave Portnoy's been canceled a bunch of times. He stays
Not
popular
really.
forever.
He's never really been canceled. I would argue he's never been canceled.
Have
Mostly because he has his own media outlet.
Have you
but
seen that Business Insider article?
It doesn't matter. Like he still has a following.
Yeah.
Well,
Like if
whether
you're
it's
getting canceled, you're like,
whether it's canceled or attempts to be canceled,
yeah.
a lot of them are able to come back from it. Like PewDiePie, you know, he said the N-word on stream. Morgan Wallen got caught saying the N-word. Like a lot of these people have had these controversies, but they're able to stay popular. For yourself, are you able to separate,
Yeah,
like, separate people's, call it their crimes, their disrespectful actions, things like that for their art? Like, are you still able? Because like I'm not gonna lie, like there's things about Barstool that I really don't like, but there's pieces of content from Barstool that I do enjoy. There's Morgan Wallen's music is still very good. Michael Jackson's music is very good. He obviously had all those allegations for years. In the music scenes, like the pop punk and the heavy music scene, like there's cancellations all the time.
Oh yeah.
Like, but like I still, if their song comes on, I like enjoy the song, and like my brain doesn't immediately go like, oh, this person did bad thing. Like, do you think that's normal, or do you think we should be harsher on these people who have made these mistakes or done these actions or shown their true colors, however you want to put it? Like, what's your thoughts on that? Should we cancel them completely, or should they have the right to earn back some of their previous glory?
You can go first.
I think it depends on what they did. Like, it's really hard for me to watch like Kevin Spacey movies. Kevin Spacey, great actor, love his movie. Baby Driver, still one of my favorite movies of all time. But like, just knowing he did that shit to kids, I'm like, fuck.
Yep.
Like, saying the N-word, I'm like, okay, whatever. I fucking have said the N-word. Yeah. I don't say it anymore because I've learned that, hey, that's hurtful and like fucking demeaning. But I now know better. And if it's something that they were doing like 5, 10, 15 years ago, I'm a little bit more lenient. But if like Morgan Wallen, I don't listen to his music because he was saying that shit like 2 years ago. And like, that's not okay, and personally. But like, I feel like if it's way in the past, it's a lot easier to look over.
Yeah, I don't know, man. This was a tough one. I think cancel culture as a whole is a really tough topic to like try to figure out, because like anybody that's like for or against it could probably figure out a situation where they were on the other side of the argument. And I think it's really prevalent in politics. Like, you know, you see, I would say predominantly you will see Republicans getting canceled, I would say. And then every once in a while you'll see like the Republicans come up and like try to cancel someone. And you're like, the instant finger pointing is kind of hilarious, right? You know, because like they're like, oh, I'm so cancel this person there, you know. But at the same time, it's like they're so mad about it when it happens to them. And so I think this is a tough one. And I think Logan is correct. I think there is a certain aspect of circumstance that probably needs to be taken into consideration. You know, were they like just a fucking kid, man, that was like grew up in a shitty household, white trash, taught that saying the N-word was okay, like, and then when they grew out of that household, they figured it the fuck out and shut their mouth when they got older and realized like how fucked up that is. Like, yeah, that's a circumstance that's probably forgivable. That being said, like, I think people are like way less. I think people are keyboard warriors when it comes to cancel culture.
Yeah.
I think people are very loud online about cancel. But then they're still going to go out and be hypocrites about it at the end of the day. Like, and I think it's more prevalent in business than art. And I think you look at Chick-fil-A and Hobby Lobby and all these other businesses that are like pretty fucked up when it comes to like what their CEOs, MyPillow, like these fucking crazy ass CEOs, right, that say stupid shit. And then you're still going to have people that are like preaching cancel culture online that go to Hobby Lobby and get their craft shit on the weekend. You know what I mean? Like, it's, you're just, I think people are loud about it without really following any action, which is why I do think that it's probably pretty easy most of the time for people to recover from it.
Yeah.
It gets, you know, you're like, you have the recency bias of like, this just happened. Fucking, I'm going to fucking fire off on Facebook. And then like 2 weeks later, you don't care anymore. Like something else happened or somebody else said something stupid or wrong. You know, like I think it's probably pretty easy to move on, but
David Dobrik almost killed his friend and he is doing better than ever.
Yeah.
He almost killed his friend and they gave him a TV show.
There was one that just happened. I'm trying to think of what it was. Like The Bachelor is a good one too. Carly just showed this to me yesterday, or maybe this morning she sent me the message. But the guy that on The Bachelorette that got engaged to the girl at the end of the finale yesterday, he like dressed up in blackface like in college and like was Jimi Hendrix in college, and like that's not that fucking long ago. And he also was like talking to some other woman, like he was dating some girl right before he went on The Bachelor. And so what they did is like straight diversion tactic, right? They're like, we don't want to focus on the blackface thing because that's a hard thing to talk about and it's probably going to have bad like news for our ratings. So scrap the blackface thing, and they only focused on the woman that he was talking to.
Yeah.
Like very intentionally diverted away from the blackface to like, and it's like, man, like but everybody's gonna fucking forget about it, dude.
Or like,
And if you don't fucking watch The Bachelorette,
Yeah.
you're never gonna even know.
But-
I mean, it's
And here's one of my kind of, as you pointed out, like you see it happen in the business world, like Chick-fil-A, Hobby Lobby, I think Michael's, don't quote me on Michael's, but like a bunch of these like Christian owned,
Yeah.
or their owners are Christian.
Yep.
Like, if we're being honest here, find me a company that's never done wrong. It's very,
Yeah.
very, like a prominent company, it's very hard. Like Walmart historically underpaid their workers, they sell products from all over the world, even sweatshops like in Asian countries.
Nike. Holy fuck.
Nike
Oh
is
my
a
God,
total
yeah.
shit show. Disney and the entire Disney family, like Disney was
Yeah.
like very clearly anti-Semitic back in the
Yeah,
day.
not a great guy.
Ford, literally a
Ford, yeah.
neo-Nazi.
Yeah, like you can't find a company that isn't cancelable by a lot of people's metrics.
Yeah.
And I definitely agree to what Logan said earlier. Like, it really depends on what you did. Like, if you said some offensive shit, I think a lot of people can get over that. Especially just as like it's just proven time and time and again. Like, people can get away with saying whatever they want, and they can mostly work their way back from it. Even
Yeah.
things like blackface to an extent, like Robert Downey Jr. did a whole movie in blackface.
Yeah, but it was a
When-
parody for people doing blackface. Like there
That
was
was
a
a
point to
little
that.
different.
Yes,
though.
but even that like could still be considered offensive. Like,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I think no matter what people do, I think it 100%. I think it depends on what the context of the cancelable offense is, and I think a
Yeah.
lot of ways. And even if you say something offensive, like you can retract, like not really retract what you said, but like you can make amends to the best of your abilities. Like nobody's ever gonna forgive you or like you anyway. So what's to say that you can't like our content, Kyle? Every single person who listens to this podcast, not every single one of them is gonna love it.
Yeah,
Like
100%.
it's just that people may straight up hate us. They may hate the way that we sound. They may hate what we talk about. They may hate the name of the podcast, whatever. There's a lot of, as Carly's saying, like if you show an apology and a willingness to learn from your mistakes and show that I don't think you should do like Morgan Wallen was like, I didn't know any better. Like, yeah, you did. It's
Yeah,
2020.
you fucking
knew,
did.
Yeah, you knew what you were saying, but if you're showing that you're wrong and you're apologizing and you're making amends along the way and you're going out of your way to support groups that you may have offended in some way, I think that does say a lot. And I think in general, the internet is too fast to cancel
yeah.
Yeah.
in a lot of situations. Like a lot of people have gotten canceled and then just straight up proven that everything that was said about them was false, or like,
Dude,
and there's a lot of people who are like, oh, it actually ended up being way worse than we thought it was. So
the thing that bugs me the most about it is like, I can't think of a single situation in the recent since the advent of cancel culture that it actually mattered. Like, who has been long term canceled that it's stuck and actually fucking screwed them over forever with like to the very base level of either their following or their customers or whatever. And the thing that drives me crazy about it too, when I think about it, is like, and I agree with Carly in that if it's legitimate, they're trying to learn and move on, great. But I feel like more often than not, specifically with celebrities, it's fucking a PA person like coming in and being like, yo, you need to fucking apologize for this. And then Morgan Wallen's back behind closed doors, fucking drinking a beer, still saying the N-word. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's like, I don't know how much people are actually changing from these experiences. They're just going, oh shit, I'm gonna lose some money if I don't fucking talk about this, and they try to.
Yeah.
It's just
I
hard to
think-
tell how legitimately like apologetic people are.
I think some people have been able to show like a true level of apology, like true acceptance of their mistakes. And I think like Carly said, like you can tell from their apology who is speaking from the heart and who is reading a script that got emailed to them. Like,
But that's
it's-
the problem for me is I feel like more often than not it's so fucking scripting. Like,
yeah, I think in a lot of
the
situations
dude,
it is.
I got to catch the end of the episode of The Bachelorette last night. Like, I just walked in while Carly was finishing it, and the fucking dude sounded like he was reading straight from a rehearsed message about,
100%.
yes, I was talking to this girl, and I was initially not looking for love, and now like, it was, I'm like,
Yeah.
come the fuck on, dude.
I mean,
like,
so the people I feel like that are like permanently like they're fucked are the people that come out as like pedophiles, kind of like I talked about Kevin Spacey.
yeah.
I don't think
Yeah.
he's actually done anything since that came out. And I know that a movie released like a week
Maybe.
and a half after that came out, and it made like $180 or something. Like it was something horrible.
Really?
Yeah,
I guess that's a good example. Yeah.
but also I feel like you can be a pedophile as long as you're either attractive or young. Because like TikTok stars get away with literally
true.
being pedophiles and trying to solicit
James Charles,
nudes.
dude.
Yeah.
James Charles, fucking, I think his name's Tony Sanchez or something.
I don't know.
Tony
who TikTok
Lopez.
is, but-
Tony Lopez, and
Yeah.
his brother did too. But like all of them, because they're viral on like the kids app of TikTok and not or
Ugh.
like YouTube, and
That's
they're not
fucked up, dude.
necessarily
Ooh.
in the like pure mainstream. They kind of just like get swept under the rug and no one cares.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
the point of like people get canceled and then like they take 2 months off of doing whatever they do and then they're back and it's like nothing ever happened. It's like
Yeah.
the Crystalia thing. Like Crystalia did some pretty fucked up things. I think he even said as much as that he did, and it's just like everybody didn't acknowledge Crystalia's existence for like 6 months, and then he was right back on podcast, right back on tour, right back doing shows. Like
Yeah.
Do you know the only example that I know of?
Hmm.
Carly had me watch a documentary the other day, and I was just like, I don't even know if I care about this, but sure, I'll watch it. Did you guys ever know about the? Oh God, she might have to chime in the chat and tell me the site. There was the site that was like back in MySpace days, like we're talking like early internet popularity days, like 90s, late or, early 2000s. The fucking guy
Hunter-
that was doing like
Yeah.
revenge porn.
yeah, Hunter Moore.
Oh.
Hunter, yeah.
I'm blanking on the name of the website now.
Uh,
I knew about that website.
I didn't. Carly was like, "How did you not know about this?" And I was like, "Honestly, this went right over my fucking head. I had no fucking clue."
Yeah, I'm blanking.
I didn't have internet in my house until like 8th grade, so I don't know when this was happening. But
It was Is Anyone Up? That was the name of the
is
website.
anyone up? Yeah.
So
yeah.
I randomly found out about it because I was weird back in the day, and like this band that I listened to, they like I was just like looking for information on this guy's girlfriend because she looked like somebody that I knew. She looked like for clarity, she looks like somebody I knew who had a very similar name. So I searched like insert band's name, lead singer, girlfriend. And like that was the first link that popped up on
That's
Google.
crazy, yeah,
Was
yeah.
Is Anyone Up? And it's like I very quickly was like, I don't think this website's here for a good reason.
I don't think
Yeah.
it's legal.
I was like, I don't think she
Turns out
posted
they had
that.
no laws about it at the time.
Yeah, it
there was
was-
literally no laws applicable.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Watching that
Yeah.
documentary was actually pretty interesting.
Just watched it too and was like, did you fucking know about this? I was like, yeah.
I had no fucking clue, dude. I was so out of the loop,
Yeah.
and people were like praising that dude. They were
It
like
was
coming to bat for him.
for a long time it was most prominent in the like scene music.
Bro,
scene.
that's where I was, and I still had no fucking clue. But I
Yeah,
also
you
didn't
weren't.
have the
You
internet.
clearly weren't like going on Google.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
There was, I mean, there's some like lead singer of another kind of like alternative scene band who was outed as a pedophile and just like completely owned up to it. Like had like even groomed children's mothers to like help him post news
That's
like
true.
that.
Carly's so right, dude. I am a Harry Potter fan for life, and J.K. Rowling is a huge piece of shit.
Yeah.
Nope,
Big
I
ol'
fucking hate that entire series now because of her.
big old.
I
piece
love
of
Harry
shit.
Potter still, but she is a huge piece of shit.
Yeah, but that's kind of the
Did you
basis.
see the new
of,
fucking
like,
book she wrote, by the way? What a
I heard
fucking
it was.
piece of shit.
I heard it was awful. I didn't.
Cursed
I'm not gonna
Child?
read it. No. She wrote she literally just published a book, and it's about how like this person that's anti-transgender is being like persecuted in
go
her
fuck
like it's
yourself,
it's
J.K.
like-
Rowling.
Yeah, it's a fucked up like concept.
JK
Like,
just kidding Rowling out here dropping fucking dog shit books.
she's a piece of shit for sure.
But
Yeah.
that's kind of my point though. Is like I think for a lot of people, like most people will still, if it's a music artist that gets canceled, they'll still listen to the music. If it's a
yeah.
if it's a book
Dude,
writer
that's what I'm
who
saying.
gets
People are
canceled,
loud
they'll
on the
still-
internet, man.
Yeah, like I think cancel culture, one I think is kind of overblown. Like people are always like, I'm getting canceled, and it's like, no, you did something fucked up, and you're properly
Yeah,
being
yeah.
called out for it, but it's
Yeah.
really not going to affect your career.
Yeah.
So just own up to your mistakes, say you fucked up, learn from it, and move on.
Yeah.
But I think there are people who, like Kevin Spacey, like, you know, people who do very fucked up things, especially to underaged people. Like, there are people who should be canceled forever. But I think a majority of people have proven that you can come back from a cancellation if your offense isn't deemed, you know, that bad.
Yeah.
And if you're remorseful.
Yeah. It's a hard thing to fucking gauge though. Dude, the interesting thing about that documentary, by the way, just to close the loop on that, is I don't know if anybody did either of you guys watch it? Do you know?
Yeah.
Okay.
I
At the very end, that guy in court was forbidden from ever being on social media again. That was a
Yep.
part of his sentence. And I was like, that is a crazy precedence to like establish. and I don't think I've ever heard of anything ever like that happening again. Like, he literally was like, the federal government told him he couldn't ever access social media again.
Yeah.
Like, how
Yeah.
does that fucking work?
I mean, like, I've heard of people being like, especially like hackers or DDoSers or swatters, being like blocked from the internet. Like, if there is an internet line to your house, it gets severed by the federal government. But like, I've never heard of, yeah, you can use the internet, but not social media.
Isn't that
Yeah.
crazy?
That's
Like, how
Yeah.
how would you enforce? Like, I don't. It was, that
what
kind
do you
of blew my mind
consider
when
a
that
social
happened.
media? Like, is YouTube social media?
But dude, I mean, like, seriously, think about it though. At the time, this is happening literally at like the advent of social media. Like, this is very
Yeah,
early
this
times,
was like
and so like,
2014, 2015
no,
is
it
like
had
when
to have been
everything
before
went.
that, right?
But that's when, like, I think that's when he was like starting to be charged and everything.
Sure,
like,
but
I
it
think
was
he
like
went to prison in
the
2015.
site started way before.
Oh
that, right?
yeah,
And
the
it's
site
like,
started in 2010.
I think
so you're like looking at
I
like
think I looked up his name. I think he went to prison in 2017.
I'm looking right now. He got out of prison in 2017. I'm looking at it right now.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's yeah.
yeah. I don't know. Maybe I'm like misjudging time, but like either way, it just seems like
But still, yeah, that's when Facebook was
crazy
getting
precedence to
popular.
establish,
That's when, yeah.
that was in Facebook was like 2007.
But that's what.
So maybe I'm, like,
2013
misjudging
was.
time.
2013 was like when it really started like getting popular.
Thank you, Uncle Kyle.
He
yeah,
ain't
I
lying.
suppose that's true. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
it's
probably
like
true.
what do you classify as social media
Yeah,
anymore?
It's wild. Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Like,
Yeah.
there's so many things that are considered like social media that aren't really like social media.
Are you not allowed to use social networks? Can you not use like? Can you not play fantasy football on Sleeper?
LinkedIn.
Can you
Can you
not
not
use,
go on LinkedIn?
Can't get a job.
Can you not use TikTok? Like,
Oh, I would 100% say that he can't. Yeah.
but that's not so. That's
It's
more
not
of a
really social
video-
media.
It's a video streaming platform.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd call that social media.
Do you have to
Okay.
define it as any
I'm a
platform?
boomer.
Any
I'm a boomer of a
platform where
millennial
you
generation.
can't- Any platform where you can't establish a parasocial relationship, like I don't know. I think
that's
it's.
why it's.
But yeah,
Yeah.
Logan's bringing up of David Portnoy, or not Logan really. Uncle Kyle's bringing up of Dave Portnoy, like really made me think about it because he's been canceled a million fucking times.
Yeah.
Like canceled.
Yeah.
Again, key word there. But like
The thing is like, dude, like amongst his base, like he doesn't give a fuck, and the people that follow him don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Like, his like true base.
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
the people
they
that
don't.
are like, I love Dave Portnoy will
Yeah.
never fucking ever like let that guy be canceled. Like his fan base will never
Hey,
stop.
you can't do this because he might get aroused. Well, as long as you're not consenting. But
Dude, he's just like, yeah, like I don't want to like tie it to a political thing because I think that's the wrong way to go about it with him. But that dude like is gonna, he just sold Barstool Sports, right?
yeah, he's like.
And you know what he's gonna do? He's gonna move to
buying
fucking Florida because
already
that
did.
is his people. And if that tells you nothing else about that man, like that's
He,
enough.
he
Like,
already did move to Florida.
like
He
Florida,
Lives he lives in Miami now, I think.
fucking Florida, man. Like if the Florida people are like your base, okay.
Anyways, my beer. Gonna give this a solid 4.5. This was delicious. Zero complaints about this beer.
Okay.
wait, 4.5 out of 5 or 10?
Out of 5. We had to
5.
move to a 5 scale.
Okay. Well, I crushed my can, but this I'm gonna give a 4 out of 5.
Pretty
I
solid.
don't want to do this, and I'm angry that I'm doing it.
You're giving it a good score.
This is like a 3.25.
Yeah, it's pretty
It's
solid.
pretty
for you.
good.
Yeah.
For a sour, it wasn't bad. Honestly, it tasted pretty decent. I don't think this was particularly sour, which goes into like I was talking to
Good.
the guy at the brewery, and he's like, sour doesn't mean sour.
Yeah.
It's like a method of
Yeah.
It's how, it's like
Traditionally,
how it's
they
fermented.
add
Brewing.
lactose to the fermentation process, and
so it doesn't
Brewing
need to
process,
taste
but-
sour, and I don't think this one does. So it was pretty good.
so
3.25.
next up for me is Liquid Love Brewings. I drank 2 of their beers last week. This is a barrel-aged Ambrosia Hugs, which is rum barrel-aged sour ale with pineapple, orange, cherry, marshmallow, and vanilla.
I have a Stem Cider's Paloma Apple Cider.
Which I must admit sounds delicious. Jess and I's anniversary was over the weekend, and we went to a Mexican restaurant. And I drank a bunch of Palomas, and it was great.
You guys got pictures taken?
Yeah, Jess surprised me with that, actually. It was really cool. I had no idea what was happening, and then Jess was like, I've got a surprise for you on this day. I was like, okay. And then, yeah, we got our pictures taken.
Looking
What do
so
you-
fancy. Sorry, I'm trying to find this one so I can rate it really quick before I go to my next one.
Oh, man.
I will say, as someone that doesn't like beers, that one it like starts terrible and then it gets really sweet and really enjoyable at the end.
The stouts.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's because you're supposed to hard pour it.
yeah,
So that-
which I
yeah,
didn't. But... So at the like top, I was getting a little bit of head off it, and it was like
Yeah.
really bad.
So most beer, if you're gonna not be chugging it, should be hard poured to get a lot of the air out. That's how you, if you're like go to like a beer tasting, that's how they'll pour the beer. And if you go to like, especially if they're pouring out of a can or a bottle, or if you go to like a beer like competition, that is how the judges pour the beer. It's because it actually gives you like the true essence of the beer, and you're not just getting all the carbonation.
This is already fucking delicious. So.
I'm excited about this one, and I saw it on the shelf, and I was immediately drawn to it. And then I told Carly about it, and she's like, "That sounds disgusting." So I don't know what you guys are gonna think, but this one's from Device Brewing Company, and it's called Rice Crispy Boy,
Ooh,
and it's just a rice lager. So
Interesting.
I was a little less excited when I realized why they called it that, but I'm hoping that there's some sense of like sweetness to this, and we'll find out. But
See, and that was the thing with me. It's like if it's sweet, I don't think I'd mind it, but just off of hearing rice lager, I want to kill myself.
I taste the
like
rum right away on this. You can tell this fucker was aged in a rum barrel. Not necessarily saying that's a bad thing either, but all right, Kyle,
all right,
close us
nerds.
out. What is your topic for
I
this
think-
week's episode?
So shout out to Carly. I've been busy with work, and so I always pick my topics at the last minute.
Same.
And I came home, and she sent me a text with like 30 topics on it, and I was like, "These are all good." So thank you. This is
Jess,
brilliant.
if you're listening,
No, I don't have to
step
do any
your
work.
fucking game up, dog. Give me some topics.
And the one that I think that is most suited for the guest, because I think it'll be interesting to hear what your guys' differences are. I want to know, what do you think was the best thing about the way that your parents raised you? What was the best thing that your parents did in raising you, like for you in the long run, long term?
Oh fuck, I have to think about this.
And I think I'd be very curious to see if your answers are different and like how different, like
I
perspective.
think
and everything.
I think they'll be very different. I think for me, it was the fact that they made us be relatively independent.
Okay.
Like they taught us how to make our own food, so we weren't always reliant on them. Like we packed our lunches for school growing up. We were responsible for our breakfast, except like maybe on the weekends they'd cook breakfast for us. Like if we didn't like what they were cooking for dinner, it was on us to find something else to make and eat. Like when it came to like doing our homework, they would help us if we really needed help. But like for the most part, they really pushed it on us. They made sure we knew like they were there for us, but that we were never like having to be reliant on them, which I think made transitioning to adulthood a lot easier for me,
Yeah.
because I knew like I'm going to go get a job. I'm going to work. I've basically worked since I was, 15, 16 years old. I've basically always had a job. I never like, even when I've had to go to my parents for help, it's never been a gift of money. It's never been a gift of time. It's never been a gift of anything. It's been an exchange. Like if my parents have ever given me money for any reason, it's always been as a loan. I would always pay them back. I would work it off. I would do something, I always earned my keep in the house. And I think that really helped me, like I said, transition into adulthood a lot easier.
It is fucking wild when you go to college for the first time and there are people that can't do their own laundry.
Uncle
Oh
Kyle's
my
got his
God.
4-year-old doing his own laundry.
It is
Yeah.
wild when they're like, "Bro, do you know how to use this thing?"
And you're
they don't know
like-
how to use a fucking wash machine.
Yeah, we
That
did
shit
our
is
own laundry.
Crazy.
I've been doing my own laundry since I was like 6.
Yeah. I was gonna say, like, literally my initial thought was immediately, boom, we could fucking do whatever we wanted for the most part. I mean, there was like general guidelines, like be home by the time that the lights came on. Let us know where you're going.
Yeah.
Get your homework done. Get good grades. Which Jake and Ethan didn't follow that nearly as much as I did, but
Hey, you should see my GPA in my master's degree, dog.
I mean,
We
yeah, that's
chilling.
probably.
I
pretty
took
good.
one class at a time and killed it.
I did. That is true. That's very true.
Dude, it's fucking master's degrees. Like, it's like a false sense of like GPA inflation because like you
Hell
can focus
yeah.
so much on a single class. It's great.
My thing that my parents did that I didn't realize was so good until I like got much older. And I don't know if actually they did this with Jake or Ethan as much,
I'll
but
be able to tell you.
I got taken out anytime that they went anywhere with friends, I got brought along. And I mean, they would let me have like my DS or my iPod or whatever I had at the time. But for the most part, they would have me like be there and I could still be playing those things, but they wanted me to engage with these people. And because of that, I mean, like, I'm still kind of, I would say, introverted when I go out in public, but I can talk to anyone about anything for as long as they want.
I think I always had the option to come out with them, but again, like, they never really forced us to do much. Like, we had chores that we had to do, and like we had rules we had to follow, but like they never forced us to do anything we didn't want to do. And I think a lot of the time too, me being the oldest, it was different for me because like a lot of our parents' friends ended up being like my friends' parents.
Yeah.
So like everybody would bring their kids to our house, and then the parents would go out, or everybody would come to our house for drinks and like they'd have drinks, play euchre, like they play like dominoes, poker, like whatever it is. They'd come to our house to play cards. So then like we would hang out with the kids, but there weren't often kids that were Logan's age. So even like when we'd be hanging out in the basement, like Logan would be up with the parents, like while they're playing cards. Like we got, for better or for worse, we got taught how to be bartenders real young.
I was gonna say that. I am immaculate at making.
You want to black out? Have Logan make you drink. Let me tell you.
See, I've gotten better about making them not taste as strong, but still being just as strong.
Yeah, Logan would take whatever
That sounds like an Illinois trait.
It is.
I've become such a great bartender, admittedly. Like, I didn't realize for almost a year that the jigger I was using was a shot and a half instead of a half shot and a shot. And no one could taste alcohol on any of the drinks I made.
Nice.
It was impressive.
Yeah.
There's always like that one person in the friend group that's like just really good at mixing things up. There was a guy I went to high school with that was like that, but like it's funny because he started out acting like he was like king shit bartender and he was actually really fucking bad. But then he figured it out and got pretty good. But
I like to think I'm pretty good at it. I've made enough drinks at this point in my life that I can kind of eyeball everything. But
yeah,
I think that like kind of to Logan's point too, like our parents never were the parents who were like, oh, we have friends over, get out of here, leave us alone. Like, and that made it easier to talk to adults. So like as I grew up, I've always related more to people who are a little bit older than me because just I'm used to talking to like more mature people as a result. So I think that's another thing that I think they did that was really great.
Oh, I mean, like I was 8 years old talking to 45-year-olds about like house shit.
Yeah.
Like, just things I had no bearing on, but I thought I had, like, a hint of an idea, so I would talk to them about it. I learned how to do my taxes for my uncle, who was plastered from my drinks at our lake house when I was, like, 11.
Yeah, shout out Uncle Perry.
Yeah.
Most fun person ever. Not an actual uncle, dad's best friend that you call uncle. We all know what we're talking about here. At least if you're from the Midwest, you know what we're talking about. Not necessarily, you didn't know that we were talking about him in that sense, but you know the family friend that you call like an uncle or this is your aunt, whatever.
We didn't really have that, but I get it.
You didn't have it.
I get it.
You know what we're talking about. But yeah, I think like, but also having us as kids around people who were more mature, like we learned a lot about life, I think, from that. Like, I think we grew up recognizing that life always wasn't going to be fair. Because we were always around adults who had like been through some shit, and I think that really helps you grow as a person who is growing. Like,
like when I have kids, I'm gonna make sure that they interact with my friends or whoever that ends up being. Like, they're not gonna sit in their room whenever I have friends over and just play video games all the time, every time. On occasion, I'll let them do that. But I'm going to force their ass down there, and they're going to make us drinks.
I'm going to be the... Hey, Logan, I'm not having kids. I'll be the fun uncle.
You're going to get fucking canceled, bro.
Fucking... Oh, my God. I walked into my first grade class, and the teacher went, so what did you guys... Or what did everyone do over New Year's Eve? And I look her dead in the eyes, and I go, I made grasshoppers for my parents and I.
To be fair, grasshoppers aren't that alcoholic. We were allowed in Iowa. I'm pretty sure it's legal
too.
They are delicious.
I hate
It's been a minute. I haven't had one of those for a long time.
We grew up like that was our New Year's thing. We would make them every year for New Year's.
We did
We'd
that
all
too,
get
but it was
grasshoppers.
Christmas time. It wasn't New Year's. We did that at Christmas quite a bit when I got a little older.
Yeah, as Uncle Kyle points out, like our parents have been through some shit, and they never hid that from us, which I think is also a great thing. Like when times were tough, we knew they were tough. Like it just helped us appreciate what we had a little bit more, and made us realize too that like what we were going through as a fucking 13-year-old, like what you're going through. Yeah, sorry, that kid at school called you fat. That doesn't matter 25 years from now. Like, there's a lot worse things in life than somebody calling you fat or calling you stupid or making fun of your hair. Or like, shit happens. Like people die. People are sick. People are broke. Like,
I got two things here. One, it did kind of help that like when people would pick on me, I had Ethan directly above me. So when I went into high school, like it was kind of an issue in middle school where I would get picked on. But then in high school, I was a freshman and Ethan was a senior. And Ethan would beat the shit out of anyone that picked on me. And then like Ethan had the same thing with Jake.
yeah.
Ethan doesn't exist in my brain, so it's funny when you guys talk about it.
We've talked about, Kyle and I have talked about this like 2 or 3 different times in the past like 2 weeks, where he's like, he's never met Ethan, so just to him it's just like,
Ethan
you don't
doesn't
want
really
to.
exist
he's in the ether, like he's just out there.
There's another one of you out there somewhere.
And the second thing is
People think that about me, by the way, because my brothers hang out together all the time back home. I went home for my brother's wedding, and they're like, "You're the other one," and I was like, "That's me."
Yeah, that's me.
another thing that was like really important in my like development as a kid was the fact that I never, or I mean, I now know this, but like I didn't have to hide anything. Like I could tell my parents, "Hey, I'm going to do such and such," and they'd be like, "Okay, just be safe."
Sure.
Like, don't be stupid.
My chair keeps
Yeah,
like
call us
slowly
if you need
lowering.
us.
Honestly, Kyle, not to switch the topic real quick, I bought these new wheels for my chair, and they're great. They're like roller skating wheels, but
I just might need to get a new chair. This
for
one
your
just keeps
officer
lowering.
chair. But like, it's crazy how much you move and you don't realize it. Like, I'm
Just
just sitting
smoother
here.
wheels?
Yeah, they're so much better. Everybody should buy them.
We don't
Honestly,
have a lot of
everybody
time left, and I haven't given mine though, so I'm going to throw
Yeah,
this out there real
I was
quick, and I'm going to
gonna
talk
say.
through this.
Logan and I have.
Those are some good ones.
Overrated this.
And mine's probably not that crazy off from you guys, because I think the best thing that my parents did for me was a work ethic by far,
Yeah.
like 100%. And some of it was unintentional, and some of it was intentional, because I grew up piss poor, and I got to see my mom fucking grind for every penny, and she worked her ass off for that, and like she didn't get a lot of time off, she didn't get any, like vacation, like my mom didn't get to do shit, and she worked really fucking hard to keep 3 kids going. And then my dad, to his credit, my dad worked his butt off, and like he's had different priorities throughout his life in terms of where that money was going to go and what he was going to do with it, and that's fine, teach their own. But anyway, he would work like 3-4 jobs like at a time. Like my dad would pick us up, because he would get us I think it was every weekend when I was like really young, and then it changed over time, it doesn't matter. Anyway, like he'd get us on like a Friday, and like on the way from my mom's house where he picked us up to like his house, he would have like the trailer on the back, and he'd stop and mow people's lawns and like fertilize and shit for people, and like did lawn care. Or he had this like apartment building that he was managing, and like he'd stop there and then drive out to his house. And it's like he's literally never stopped fucking working.
Right.
And so like whether, like I said, some of it was intentional, like because when I got a little older, they were like same thing with like what you guys were saying. Like I wanted something, my parents were like, all right, mow lawns, get a job,
Yeah.
I was
deliver
gonna mention-
papers.
Yeah, we shoveled driveways in the winter. We did the lemonade stand. We did. If
You
we
remember
wanted,
the board, Jake? The board? Where when we would do chores, we would add money to the board.
Oh yeah. So whenever we like certain chores were worth certain amounts. So like if we mowed the lawn, we'd get $5. But if we folded laundry, we'd get 2.
Yeah.
Whatever it was. So if we wanted something, my parents would be like, "There's the chore chart. Figure it out."
Yeah.
My parents, they gave each, me and my brother, because my oldest brother is like 6 years older, so like we weren't as close to him. But my other brother and I, he got trash and I got windows. So like it was like every other week my mom wanted all the windows in the house cleaned, and I think she didn't actually, she just wanted something for me to do, to like have to do something to earn money,
Yeah.
And my brother took the trash out every week. And I think we each got 50 cents for our chores. And so I would save up for 3 weeks so I could go buy trolley gummy bears or gummy worms, sour gummy worms at the fucking gas station up the street.
Yep.
And I would walk my happy ass up there every 3 weeks and buy my fucking gummy worms with my allowance from doing the windows. And it was like, it was just hilarious like that. And like I had a paper route. As soon as I turned 14, I got a job. Like,
Yeah.
and I, you know, for better or for worse, like there are things that I sacrificed in order to do that. Like I never did sports because I wanted to work because I wanted money.
Yeah.
And you know, some of that is because my parents couldn't afford it. Like I think if I grew up same parents, but like they were better off financially when I was younger, they would have just
Right.
spoiled the shit out of me. I do, because I think my mom's a softie at heart and she would have just given me everything I ever asked for. But because she couldn't,
Yeah.
you know, it was part of the situation.
Yeah.
Like she's like, get up there and fucking work, you know?
But
Good
even I think that's where our parents did a great job. Is for the most part, finances weren't really ever the struggles that we went through. But we still, if we wanted something, we had to work for it. Like we
Yeah.
never got given, and like around holidays we did. But like
Yeah.
if I needed a new bat for baseball or a new glove, I better fucking work my ass off around the house. I better do everything that I'm asked for. Like if my parents ask me to do something, I better do it right away.
Yeah.
And like that taught me that like if I want something, I have to do, like I have to earn it.
Yeah.
I can't just I'm not gonna be given. If I want to upgrade my computer, I'm not gonna be gifted parts. I gotta earn it. I gotta work my job. I gotta make my money. And I gotta
I
do
do
it.
think Jake brought it up earlier though. I do think as a person that doesn't want children, like, and I'm doing better for myself than my parents. Well, my mom, my dad does pretty well for himself. And my mom's like has kind of like stayed in like a lower, you know, financial bracket for her whole life, which I feel bad for her, but you know, because she sacrificed college for kids. You know what I mean? Like she did a lot of
Yeah.
things to take care of us, and like she could have been way better off. For me, that doesn't want kids, I'm like, if my brothers have kids,
Yeah,
what do you
I'm
want?
gonna be-
I'm gonna spoil
I'm
the
gonna
piss
be
out of you.
the-
I'm that
exactly.
uncle. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
especially because like my brothers do okay, but they don't do like crazy anything financial. Like
Well-
they're stuck in Iowa too. So I'm just gonna be like, I got Christmas, bro.
And it's funny that Jake mentions like he had to work for everything, because that was me up until about high school, and then I started playing lacrosse, and I think it was just because it was so similar to rugby. My dad was like, "Fuck it, we're gonna go buy you a new stick," and I'm like, "I don't need a new stick." And he's like, "You're getting a new stick."
Yeah, also, let's be honest, Dad was making double the money when you were playing sports when
I was gonna say that, and
playing
like
sports.
when the two, like the older brothers start disappearing and like don't need as much financial support, it's so
Yeah.
much easier to support the younger.
Yeah,
one, you know?
when Logan started playing lacrosse, I was 24.
Yeah, you
So,
were in your apartment.
I was out of college. I had a job. Like,
Yeah.
he wasn't spending money on me anymore.
yeah,
Yeah,
So it was
no.
mostly just me that disappeared. Let's be honest here. Ethan still lives at home too, so it was mostly just me that was gone. But still, like
Yeah.
when I needed stuff for sports, and I played a cheaper sport comparatively somehow to lacrosse,
Yeah.
I had to work for everything that I wanted. If I wanted to play travel ball, I better be able to afford whatever the fees were because I was paying for it. So
Yeah. Well, and then like, but my dad would be like every year, he's like, "Hey, you need new pads?" I go, "No, my pads are still good." He goes, "Okay, we're gonna go play it again and buy you new pads." And I would get new pads that I would never wear. I have like 4 sets of fucking shoulder pads I've never put on because I wear the same ones that have. Well, I realistically I use the same ones for 2 years, and then I use my like most recent one for 2 years. But what I would do is I had kids on my team that weren't nearly as like wealthy, that I'd be like, "Fuck it, here you go." Guess what?
Yeah,
Never told my dad.
yeah,
Yeah.
I gave away shit too. I gave away bats. I gave away gloves. Like
I gave away 4 sticks. I had sticks. That
I have
would
I have one of your sticks. I've
Yeah.
I've never played a minute of lacrosse in my life outside of like gym class.
like I gave away.
I'd have been better I'd have been better than Logan if I played, but I've never played.
we would have
On
played
that
different
note-
positions, but anyways.
we're out of time. Please rate your beers so we can close this one out. Jake, you can go first. Logan's just gonna finish it.
The rum barrel finish definitely adds like a really unique feature to this beer that I don't get in a lot of others, which makes me want to rate it a little bit higher than I would normally give. I'm gonna give this a 3.75.
Okay.
Logan.
Logan's giving it a 5 out of 5, I think, with multiple 5s.
No, I could drink like 30 of these. This was
a
amazing.
Paloma cider. Sign me up.
A Paloma apple cider.
Grapefruit, anything. Sign me the fuck up. I'm in.
Do you know
I've
what I
got
love
another
about?
one downstairs. I think I can
I'm gonna
drive it to
drink
your
it.
house.
You know where I live.
Do you know what I love about Untapped? Is when
What?
you go to like rate a beer on Untapped and like under the flavor profile,
Mhm.
I think they just collect like the average terms that are used by people to describe the beer and they throw them all in there and they give you those as like the top 5 to pick from, right? But I feel like they do a pretty fucking good job sometimes of like really hitting like some
I
like
think-
undescribables about some beer.
For some beers too, they pull from like whatever the brewery lists as the tasting notes or
That could be too.
Yeah.
But like for
If-
example, I never would have thought of the word grainy to describe this, but now that I saw it on here, I'm like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you're right. That does taste
Yeah.
grainy. That is what this tastes like. This is maybe like one of the weirdest beers I've ever had in my life.
I feel like you
So
still
many
like it,
things
though.
happened. I like smelled it out of the jar when I first went and it like burned my nostrils. Like I had to pull back from it. It was fucking weird. And then it's like, I don't know, man. It is a weird
Yeah.
fucking beer. It's a 2.0 to me. It's like I'll never get this again in my life. I can tell you that much right now. But
I watched-
also, it's not disgusting.
I watched you smell it initially, and I saw you go, and I was like,
It burned.
yeah, I was like, okay, that's concerning.
It's
but
fucking weird, man.
no,
It's
I
weird.
I
You guys ever
drank
had a
this-
rice lager? I don't know if I have.
I've
Oh,
had
that's the
rice
right-
wine. I can't say I've had a rice lager before.
No, I've had like sake, which is like
That's
I
a rice
love
wine.
sake.
yeah.
I
Sake
love
with
it.
rice. Yeah.
Hot sake, baby.
We should do sake bombs for an episode.
I fucking love sake.
Honestly, I'll fucking.
Some hot sake.
Love it.
It's a
I don't.
vibe.
I don't
Carly
think
asked
I'd
me
be
why I
able
never get
to
the
mail
flavored
them
sakes.
to
Hot sake.
to Kyle, but Jake, I will make you cocktails in these bottles that you just have never had before, and for like your Halloween episode or whatever, you can use them because that is
I'm
literally
in.
the purpose I bought them.
I'm
is,
in.
Is I bought these so that I can put cocktails in them, and then people will not have any fucking idea what they're drinking.
Yeah, I still gotta get Malort out to Kyle
Sketchy.
somehow.
Yeah, we got to get Malort. It's not
Dude,
for sale in my area.
my friend was like, fuck it. Because I offered my friend who went to flight with me last night, I was like, I'll buy drinks. And there was a Malort Spritz.
It's delicious. First of all, second of all, fuck you for not inviting me.
We're also super out of time.
Yeah.
So we've rated our beers. We can continue this conversation afterwards. Thank you everybody for joining us. This is another episode of Two Average Husbands. You can follow us on Instagram or on Twitter at Two Average Husbands. And you can find us on Facebook as well. Again, as I say all the time, we're not really active there, so sorry about that. Facebook is boomers. It's not the young man's game anymore. Instagram and Twitter is where it's at. That being said, we are streaming everywhere now, so I won't continue to list them. You can find us all over the freaking place. But I will highlight again that we are now live streaming on YouTube, Twitch, and on Twitter. So you can find us any of those places now and watch along with us live. And as Uncle Kyle told us tonight, that he seems like the chat works a little better on Discord than it has on YouTube in the past. So feel free to hop in
on
there.
Twitch.
That's what I meant. Sorry, on Twitch. You can hop in there and chat. YouTube's still fine though, or you can find us in the Discord or wherever you want to chat with us while we're doing the episode live. We're happy to respond, bring us topics, bring us things to talk about. Thanks for joining us. It's been another great episode. Jake, go ahead and close us out. And Logan, if you have any closing comments, you can throw them in too.
I
Yeah,
just give them
Logan-
hand hearts.
Logan, thank you so much for joining us. You're welcome on the podcast whenever you want to join us. You texted me
Anytime.
asking, and we got you on. So it's that
love
easy to
it.
be on the podcast. If you are listening to us and you want to be on for an episode, just let me know. We will get you in the rotation, get you on here. Everybody who supports us on whatever platform you listen to us on, we've done nearly 1,000 downloads of this podcast in the past 30 days, which is insane. It's something crazy to think about when you consider the fact that like the entire year of
people
our
watch us live.
podcast up to this, the entire year of the podcast up to this point was about 1,000 downloads. So we've really like doubled what we've been doing recently, which has been crazy. We love all the support. We love the interaction. We love hearing what you guys like, and we love having different conversations about on the podcast about the podcast. If you want to hear us talk about something, let us know what it is. If you want to see us string something, let us know what it is. We're always open to suggestions. We are here to please the people. But that being said, thank you for tuning in. We will see you in the next episode. And as always, don't forget